Alright, so you clicked on this video because you want to know how to transfer your Google Authenticator codes over to Authy. Now, I'm going to tell you straight off the bat that at the recording of this video, there is no way to automatically transfer your codes from Google Authenticator to Authy. However, I will show you how you can safely move them over to Authy manually. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. Just to let you know, this is a manual process. I'm going to say it again. This is a manual process. There is no way to automatically transfer your codes from Google Authenticator over to Authy. I get a lot of questions about this. All right. You can click out of this video if you want, if you would like to try to find an automatic way of getting this done, and that's fine. But you won't find anything. Believe me, I've tried. I've called reps at Google. I've searched for weeks to no avail. It's a complete waste of time. All right, so the best thing to do is to accept the fact that this will take some time to get done if you have multiple accounts, and just take it one account at a time. Okay, now in order to get this done properly, I highly recommend you stop this video, you go through all of the online accounts that you have for your Google Authenticator. Right now, for instance, if it were me, I would have to go through my GitHub, right? So you want to go through all of your online accounts and reset the two-factor authentication. When you reset it, okay, each web application is going to give you a backup code. You want to take that backup code and you want to write it down on a piece of paper. Do not take a capture of it with your phone. Do not take a capture of it with your computer. Do not take a capture of it with your iPad. Do not take a digital copy. You want to take this code and you want to write it down on a piece of paper. I get plenty of emails from people saying that when they initially set up their two-factor authentication, they either did not copy down their backup codes, putting them at risk for not even being able to restore their account. They took a capture of it with their phone. They misplaced the picture got corrupted, whether it be on their phone or on a computer, and then they're pretty much screwed. Don't do that. Do not be like them. Write down the codes on a piece of paper. Trust me. The reason why I'm telling you this is because when you move forward with this video, you run the risk of making a mistake during the process of transferring your codes, and you run the risk of losing access to your accounts. I'm going to repeat that again. If you guys are annoyed with me repeating myself, I don't care. Just trust me. Do not move forward with this video if you have not gone through your accounts and you have not reset your two-factor authentication and you have not written down those backup codes. Okay, now let's move forward. Okay, so here we have my mobile phone. I'm on my desktop computer, by the way. Now this is my mobile phone and this is just a regular web browser. Okay, now just so you know, this is my actual cell phone, right? I have my cell phone connected directly to my computer and my Linux system. I have a piece of software that gives me the ability to cast my mobile phone to my computer, so I could make and place calls on my phone as if I had it in my hands. Okay, so I'm going to walk through the process of resetting my two-factor authentication. What you should have done before you hit this part of the video, right? So I'm going to log in. Okay, I'm going to open up Google Authenticator. I'm going to type out the code before it expires. So now I'm in. Okay, so now I'm going to navigate to the security settings. The security settings where you're going to have to go for whatever web application you're using is going to be different. For GitHub, this is where it's located, under account security. It may be labeled differently depending on what website you're logging into. It might say account sec, it might just say security. It varies. Okay, so I'm going to come in. Now it's already enabled. Okay, so I'm going to disable it. Right, this is how you reset it. Okay, now when you reset it, when you disable it, the web application should ask you to enter in your current code that you have with Google Authenticator. Okay, now GitHub doesn't do that for whatever reason, it just gives me the ability to disable it because I've already authenticated myself. So the web application that you're logging into might ask you to enter in whatever code you have here as a security measure. Okay. Now, I'm going to now re-enable it. Okay. We're going to continue with setting up an app. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to log into my Authy account, and I'm going to set it up using Authy. Okay, so let's add an account. Scan code. So now I'm going to pick up my phone and I'm going to scan the monitor. Okay, let's leave that as is. Save. So now, let me just let it time out. So now, I enter this code, and here are the backup codes. Okay, this is, you should have seen something very similar for each of your online accounts. This is the way how GitHub sets it up. Whatever account that you're trying to reset it for, you might see one code, you might see 2 or 3. GitHub gives you a bunch of them. Now, the only reason why I'm even showing you these codes is because after I'm done recording this video, I'm going to delete it. So you won't be able to access my account. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write this down on a piece of paper just in case I screw it up. BFD72. Okay. So now they're going to force me to download it. Otherwise, I can't continue. Let's say I did download it. Now, do as I say, not as I do. If the online account requires you to download those backup codes, okay, then I guess you have no choice. But the moment you download them, you need to go back into your computer and write them down and then delete them from your computer. Okay? And now it's just that simple. Okay, so now I'm going to log back out. Okay, so now we're going to log in. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to show you what happens when I try to use a code from Google. Let me let it time out really quick. So 231. So the code is it's no longer working because I successfully transferred over the 2FA account from Google over to Authy. So now let's use my Authy code. All right, let's grab it before it times out. Copy and paste. And now I'm in. Okay, so I've successfully transferred my 2FA account on GitHub from Google Authenticator over to Authy. Now you're probably asking, why did I make you pause the video, log into all of your accounts to reset them and write down the backup codes? I did this because I want you to get into the habit of doing this. Way too many people set up 2FA and they rush through the process and they skip writing down these codes. And then they run into trouble in the future should they lose their phones or lose access to their account. Think of it as tough love. I want you to get into the habit of writing these codes down and putting them in a safe space. Do not take a digital copy. Now, the process that I just ran through, you're going to have to do this for all of your accounts. Don't do it in one day. It could be a very tedious process, especially if the application that you're trying to log into, it could be quite cumbersome, right? So just schedule this. Maybe do 2 accounts a day. If you have Chase, Facebook, Twitter, GitHub, TD Bank, whatever accounts you have, do 2 accounts a day. Make it, take your time. Don't rush this, okay? Now, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching this video.